So pretty recently on the channel, I put out a big collaboration video talking about some of the best Nintendo 3DS games that are still worth playing right now in 2025. And the game that I talked about was Shin Megami Tensei IV. But for this review, I just want to go a bit more in depth because for that video, I put some time constraints on it. So I did an okay job, but I just feel like I definitely need to do a full review for this game and definitely give it the full justice that it deserves. Now, if I don't say anything else about Shin Megami Tensei IV, I just absolutely have to say that this game probably has the most memorable story and the most memorable world out of any video game that I have ever played in my life, because even after I beat this game, especially a few days after, probably like a whole week after, I just could not stop thinking about the world of this game because it is so interesting. And for those who know what the Shin Megami Tensei series is, the SMT series is, I mean, the story and the world in this game was just so interesting and memorable to me that while I was working my kind of boring job that I'm pretty jaded of right now, I was actually thinking like it would probably be more fun to be in the world of Shin Megami Tensei IV right now, which is absolutely insane because in real life, I definitely would not want to be in a post-apocalyptic world where I have to fight alongside demons for my survival and livelihood. Speaking of the world and the setting in Shin Megami Tensei IV, I really love how it starts off kind of like your typical JRPG where you're in this kind of medieval castle town type of place and you become a samurai, but the whole setting and world changes when you go into the depths of this dungeon called Narako, sent down there to fight demons who are trying to invade your world, and you find another world beneath yours, this post-apocalyptic Tokyo that has been overrun and taken over by demons. So it's kind of like you go from a medieval setting to a more futuristic or modern day Tokyo that is suffering through this post-apocalyptic event. I thought that was really cool and really interesting. The combat in Shin Megami Tensei IV is really good, just like the other SMT games that I have played, which are only the vanilla SMT5 and SMT5 Vengeance, which is a really good game with a really good combat system. Now, I would say the combat system in Shin Megami Tensei IV isn't as good or in-depth as in 4, but it is unique and really good as well. One thing that I really like about this combat system is that it's actually kind of broken because there is no defense stat. So even when you're way under leveled, if you have demons in your party that can output a lot of damage and you can take advantage of your opponent's weaknesses to get extra turns in this press turn combat system, because the way this game works is that if you hit enemies' weaknesses, you can get 2 extra turns in battles. But if enemies exploit your weaknesses, they can get extra turns and just completely wipe the floor with you really quick too. It also has this mechanic called Smirk, where if you exploit their weakness, sometimes you get lucky and you basically get your attack to be unmissable, or you become, you can basically evade their attacks 100%. You'll see the enemy start glowing when they have it and they can really destroy you. So it's kind of luck-based, a bit RNG-based, which can be pretty difficult when it goes against you. But when it goes for you, it's really nice. But I do like the fact that this game doesn't have the proper defense stat that it should, because it allows you to be way under-leveled and overtake way higher leveled enemies, except for some of those late game boss battles. I mean, you can still do it, but you're definitely gonna need to have a really good team with you. I played this game hard all the way through up until the dungeon of, I think, Pluto, just because on my first playthrough, I just kind of wanted to get through it without doing all the side quests. I beat this game in about 53 hours, but I still really enjoyed my time with it. And I definitely will probably replay it, just take it more slow and do all the side quests and everything. I got the chaos ending in this game, and I have to say that I thought it was a really solid ending. I won't spoil anything, but I just thought that it was a good way to come to a solution for, you know, what the other side wanted to do. Because you spend so much time battling in combat and traversing the world in RPGs, especially JRPGs, I definitely feel like soundtracks are really important for those type of games, and Shin Megami Tensei IV has an absolutely phenomenal soundtrack packed full of bangers, different types of sounds, and it's just absolutely amazing. One of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time that I have ever heard. I still need to catch up on the series, but 5 and 5 Vengeance have amazing soundtracks as well. But Shin Megami Tensei IV is right up there with them. Now, while Shin Megami Tensei IV may not have the really gorgeous 3D visuals of Shin Megami Tensei V and Vengeance, and it may not have the great graphics, the 2D sprites, and the 2D animation in this game does look great, and it allowed them to have even more demons than any other game except maybe its sequel, with over 400 recruitable demons that you can also fuse. And let's talk about fusion a little bit. In a lot of JRPGs, the way that you have to, you know, get stronger and better is by grinding and leveling up, but not in Shin Megami Tensei IV, or I don't think really any of the other SMT games, because the way that you improve in these games is by fusing demons and putting different skills on them, giving them different affinities, and it just makes it a lot of fun playing with the fusion system, because you can use your weaker demons to build stronger ones. You can carefully choose out their move set and everything, and it is an absolute game changer. Oftentimes when you know, just find yourself losing to a boss battle, it's not because you need to go and grind and level up. It's just because you need to go and train your strategy, you know, cover your weaknesses, maybe change your buffs and debuffs that you have, which also play a big part in the combat system. This combat system is really in-depth and really good. And if you're someone who loves a good in-depth turn-based combat system that isn't boring at all, you know, kind of like those typical RPGs where you just, you know, press A, and, you know, exploit weaknesses, and that's all there is to it. This game has a lot more going for it than that. One other thing that I just want to say, which I did say in the 3DS video, is that I really believe grown-up adult Pokemon fans should play a real Shin Megami Tensei game, because I know a lot of other people, I'm not the only one out there, are kind of jaded with the current Pokemon games that we got in the Nintendo Switch era. I mean, let's be real, they all kind of suck. They're all just baby games now. They don't accommodate adults by putting in difficulty settings or any of that, and even beyond the difficulty, they just have a lot more problems than that. But Shin Megami Tensei games still have great turn-based combat. They still have the monster collecting element. You know, you have some cute little guys like Jack Frost. Most of them are kind of more scary looking though, but it is a lot of fun. And to me, this series ended up replacing Pokemon for me, because it gives me the challenge that I want. It gives me the in-depth combat that I want, turn-based combat. And I would say, even though the vanilla SMT5 didn't have the best story, Shin Megami Tensei IV has one of the greatest stories in any video game that I have ever played. And even Shin Megami Tensei V has a really solid story as well. But Shin Megami Tensei IV is the game that I just have to gush about in this video. If you have a 3DS, if you have a way to play this game, I still believe this game is absolutely a masterpiece in 2025 that you need to play if you're a JRPG fan that loves deep stories, world building, and all of that. I love how when major events happen in this game, the dialogue of the NPCs change. I mean, this game just has such a rich story, such a great cast of characters that are really well written. This game is just phenomenal. This is just me just going off the top of my head off the experience that I had with this game. And I think, you know, even though I just beat it and I have so many other games in the backlog, I've got to get around to replaying this someday because this game is still absolutely phenomenal. A key feature and part of Shin Megami Tensei IV is the alignment system, because the alignment system is directly tied to the story and even to the ending that you will get throughout your playthrough. And the way it works is that you're presented with different choices to make during the game and also different questions to answer, which are based on your ideals. And it's presented pretty straightforward for two of the different alignments that you can get, which are chaos and law, because they're represented by two characters, and it's made pretty clear, cut and dry, which one represents the law side, which one represents the chaos side. But there is also a neutral route that you can get in this game that I hear is a little bit more difficult to get. I hear a lot of people say you may want to look up some guides on how to get the neutral ending, but I've also heard that if you just pretty much do all the side quests, you have a good chance of getting it. So with the alignments, that leaves three different endings you can get, which are the law, chaos, and neutral. But there is also a fourth ending that you can get on this game, which is based on a kind of different ideology as well. I won't spoil that, but if you do get that kind of alternative ending, it's an early ending to the game, so you'll miss out on a lot of the gameplay. And a lot of fans of this game call it the bad ending. I can see why, because it cuts the game short early. But I feel like every ending in this game still has, you know, its purpose. It still kind of makes sense. And depending on your ideology, how you view this world of Shin Megami Tensei IV, how you view the Eastern Kingdom of Mikado and this apocalyptic Tokyo, you know, any one of these endings can be the best ending for you. I was happy getting the chaos ending, and you know, I don't know when I'm gonna replay this game again, because I definitely want to play some other RPGs as well, but I went ahead and looked up cutscenes of some of the other endings, and I just felt like every ending was pretty solid. I definitely really like Chaos over Law, though. I just thought it was a more fair ending, even though it, you know, I don't really want to spoil too much with that. But yeah, the alignment system in this game is great. A lot of replay value with multiple different endings. Now, I've only been speaking all positive about Shin Megami Tensei IV in this review so far, but there is one downside to this game that I just did not like at all. Some people may disagree with me on it, but that is okay. But I do have to say, before I say the negative about this game, is just that everything else about this game was just way too good for even the downside of this game to stop me from enjoying it. But the downside is just that this game does have a really big world map, a lot of exploration, but I feel like the game just does a terrible job of telling you where to go and just kind of leaves you to figure that out on your own oftentimes. So personally, I just used my smartphone a lot, used Google to tell me, you know, how to get around, because this game just did a really bad job of doing that. That's just my experience, but everything else about this game was absolutely phenomenal. The characters, the stories, and the world are truly the most memorable of any video game that I have ever played. The combat was really good. The music, the soundtrack was absolutely phenomenal. The cast of characters was really cool. Even the sprites and the designs of the characters and demons in this game look really good. And I would just say, if you're a JRPG fan, you need to experience this story and world at least once in your life. If you're a Shin Megami Tensei fan, if you've played the newer games like 5 or 5 Vengeance, you definitely should go back and play this one, because this is peak world and story, even way better than 5. And I really loved playing Shin Megami Tensei 5. When I played 5 actually and looked back at the 3DS games, I was like, I don't know, these games just look kind of not as polished, kind of not as good. You know, the graphics aren't as good. Even the character and demon designs aren't as good. But no, do not think that. This game has the way richer story and world. And I heard that the navigation issue, kind of not being able to find your way around, gets fixed in the sequel, Shin Megami Tensei IV Apocalypse. So I'm really looking forward to playing this game next, and I will definitely talk about it on the channel when I do. But thank you all so much for watching this review. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this channel. If you enjoy the content, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Until the next time, I will catch you all later.